Hello, 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 and welcome once again to the Dr. Zeero Xiron Free Magic Secrets Show, where we investigate all forms of magic. We talk about all kinds of things and stuff and social problems in the world today and how our world is collapsing and all kinds of stuff. We talk about the cool book I wrote called Apex Unhinged, which you should Google. We talk about the cool music I made, which is posted on this channel. We talk about tarot. We talk about, everything you can shake a stick at as far as magic is concerned. And today I really wanted to touch base on something that everybody should take to heart. It's this whole idea of fighting dirty. And this is the problem today, in my opinion. Now, understand that you're listening to a supervillain. I'm not going to pretend I'm anything else. But this is always the thing that irked me and made me bothered is that, came from more punk rock background, or at least the etho. I listened to way more metal than I did punk rock, to be honest. But, the punk rock etho and mindset, that's why I like stuff like grindcore, because it's like a mix of the two, So I come from this sort of crusty sort of background a little bit, but I've always been a loner and on my own side, and I've always roiled people's feathers with my opinions because I don't neatly fit on the general consensus, I shall say. The right has a general consensus, the left has a general consensus, and my views rub people the wrong way on both consensuses. And there are some things that appeal to me that, the right side may be saying, or bulletin points, talking points about certain things. And none of that is connected to any of the weird shit that's going on or that they've occurred. It's more just like middle of the road talk. But then there's also, the left wing, and they can go farther and farther and farther and farther out in a direction that I think is just fantastical and foolish. So the long story short, I'm trying to say here is talking about fighting dirty, why it's important in magic, why it's important in politics, why it's important in society and all this shit. Because, the people that are heavily invested in magic and are very serious about evolving and really study this shit, I don't think anybody like us is generally on the right super right-wing side. I mean, the people that on the super right-wing end that are deep into this, studying occultism and shit, they might be a little schnotzy, but they'll never get far in anything they're doing because they're too stupid to look beyond the hate and all their illusions that they hold on to and all their weird ego trips and all their weird prejudiced shit. They're always going to be at a lower vibrational level, and they're never going to get anywhere with their shit because magic is something that has so much subtlety to it. They're incapable. They are absolutely incapable of processing the subtleties because they're so overwhelmed with their hate. And that's the problem with hate. So, for the most part, I do think the people involved in magic tend to be way more left-wing because we're about freedom, individuality, all kinds of concepts that are like, because the right wing is slathered with biblical Bible thumping stuff. You know what I mean? We are the outsiders and the outcasts, and it's hard to get with a program that's opposed to us. But the problem that I've always had with the punk rock crowd, and I say the left-wing political crowd, is that they don't know how to fight dirty because they always want to play the hero. They all want to be the hero. This is the problem. The left-wing side, they want to live more idealistically, and they want to represent a better world, and they want to get away from all the shit, and they're more open. So they don't want to be the villain. You see, they don't see themselves. They see themselves as doing the good thing, so they want to be the good person. The right-wing side does not give two shits. You understand? They're going to fight dirty. They're just like, do it and get it done. Push everybody out of the way. And you can't solve problems. You can't change anything if you're just going to stand there being the do-gooder. You have to bring yourself down to the level of the person who's waging an antagonistic ideological battle with you. This is why I say I have that song called Propaganda Power. You should look it up. It's absolutely dope. I have a bunch of different versions of it through all kinds of different genres. So I have this lyric in there that propagandize, whoa, advance your tactics, enact low blow. I have that part. So what the fuck is a low blow? When you watch professional wrestling, it's when you punch a guy in the nuts. They say, oh, you gave him a low blow. Whoa, that's where it's going. It's the same thing in boxing. If you punch a dude in the balls, it's called a low blow. So propaganda doesn't wear boxing gloves, though. Propaganda doesn't do suplexes. Well, I mean, it kind of does. You give people brain busters and tombstones and hurricanranas and all kinds of shit rhetorically. And you have to think of it like such, because when you think of your own vocabulary in terms of professional wrestling maneuvers, this is a great magic secret, but most people can't wrap their heads around it. Plus, every single word is a Kabbalistic tree. In every word is you speak is the tree of life. Each word with its tonality and its intention and all such, it renders a tree of life. You see. So you got to start, adopting these Jim Ross tree of life word shurikens, because that's the only way I can put it. You know what I mean? It's pretty dope. So this is just what I'm getting at. This is the fucking problem with the punk rock crowd. They're like, you try to explain. I've talked about it before. It's like propaganda is neutral, right? It's the opinion of the person that is in question. It's techniques to seed your opinion. Your opinion could be about anything. Now, when you listen to all these bands, these metal bands, punk rock bands, and they talk about, they'll bring up propaganda in their lyrics in a general vague way. The people listening that don't know any better just immediately think that propaganda in and of itself is this thing to attack. Well, it's like, if it depends who the propaganda is from, because all advertising is propaganda, and every single fucking song that these bands play talking about propaganda is their propaganda talking about negative propaganda that you should be defeated, while not mentioning that what they're doing is propaganda in and of itself. And this is taught the whole left wing, or given them the impression that you have to fight against propaganda when it's one of the strongest fucking things you can possibly learn and use. It's rhetorical sorcery. It's so important. And I wrote, if you read my book, the very end of it is a whole, it's a grimoire essentially about propaganda. It's a manual technically, but a grimoire at the same time, if you choose to see it as such, which I'm prompting you to, which you absolutely should. So if you read my book, you'll get that. But I also read a version of it and recorded it and uploaded it to this channel. And if there's 3 episodes called Propaganda Magick. And if you go onto my Magick episodes playlist, you'll find them. If you scroll way deep down into my catalog, endless catalog of videos, you'll eventually find it. But this is what I'm here to say. Like, you're going to tell me that black magic ain't about enacting low blow? You're going to tell me that the whole process isn't? I mean, what do you think all this shit is? They understand. And if they're black magic types, they're like working with infernals and all this shit, trying to be, Mr. Nice Pants or Silly Susie with like her happy fucking, whatever renditions of whatever they're thinking, they're wild, fluffy, buddy fucking Lucifers and such, all these things. No. You're going to tell me you're infernal. You're going to tell me you're satanic. You're going to tell me you are of the dark. You're going to tell me you are dark occultists. You are one of the black flame, and you are the one who communicates and communes with all these entities and shit. And you're going to go out there and try to play the hero. Does that make any sense? I mean, ultimately you don't want to be a piece of shit as an individual, but at the same time, when something needs to get done, it needs to get done. And you can sit there and be like a little lamb and try to be, super politically correct and super this, super that, super this, super that. But the other side is just cutthroat. And when you deal with people with cutthroat ideology and cutthroat tactics, you have to respond and be as stern as possible. And, this is where we're engaged in a propaganda war. This whole country. It's like a cold civil war that isn't going to move forward. It's a thing of attrition. But let me tell you, it's a propaganda war, for sure. I mean, just look at the left side and the right side, far right MAGA versus the quote-unquote woke. All this stuff that's going on, it's an extreme war of words. And internet and social media are fueling the propaganda condition. So anyway, long story short, that's everything I wanted to say today. Stop pretending to be the hero. Put on your supervillain boots. Jump on the glider like the Green Goblin, and then fly away going with your little thing. And then you can throw pumpkin bombs at people. And you're like, I'll get you, Spider-Man. That's what happens when you become the Green Goblin. So this is just another goblin out there saying stuff to the void. But I wanted to make that point today. So anyway, I think I've had you long enough. I do hope this got through to you. And as you know, as it is at this show, you get a hot rockin' outro. And oh boy, do I got a hot one for you today. All right, adios, kids.